Hot Springs Village Inside Out is a closer look at the largest gated community in North America, spanning 26,000 acres in the Ouachita Mountains in south central Arkansas. Join me, Randy Cantrell, and some occasional guests as we explore Hot Springs Village Inside Out. HSV Inside Out is sponsored by Ike Eisenhower State Farm. Ike and his award-winning team have been serving the insurance needs of folks all around Hot Springs Village since 1998. Call Ike Eisenhower State Farm today at 501-984-4100. That's 501-984-4100. Find them online at ikeeisenhower.net. Call them today for all your insurance needs because, like a good neighbor, Ike Eisenhower State Farm is there. Also sponsored by McGraw Realtors, located in the heart of Hot Springs Village, the fastest growing real estate office with over 30 agents and staff. Executive brokers Lori and Ken Henderson, along with realtor and waterfront specialist Rick Marshall, they're eager to share the special features of Hot Springs Village with you. For a complimentary relocation packet, call Ken and Lori at 501-276-3018 or Rick Marshall at 501-601-RICK. They are McGraw Realtors of Hot Springs Village. Let's respond to some emails, shall we? Veronica in Kansas, have you considered doing some vlogging to show us more about what life is like in Hot Springs Village? I get this, okay, not every week, but I get it regularly. The request to vlog. No, I haven't considered it. Yes, I have. I have slightly considered it. For those of you that don't know what vlogging is, a vlog, there are people that do daily vlogs. I mean, there are people that they make a trip to Walmart. They make a trip and they just take us along with them. No, I've just never been tempted to do it. If you watched the episode that I did about a day in the life of, it was last week. Trust me, it would not be that exciting. It just wouldn't be that exciting. What I will do, and what I have tried to do more of, is when we're out and about, if we go on a walk, if we go somewhere, to take you along. I have also gotten repeated requests, and this kind of tickles me. I've gotten repeated requests, these drive videos. And of course, the stupid thing is the video, it looks like I'm just hauling. I mean, it looks like I'm just absolutely driving 90 miles an hour. I promise you I'm not. I promise you I am within the speed limit. But these little action cameras, just the way that they handle it, I either need to shoot those in slow motion or something. I promise you this, I'm absolutely going to do more videos to continue to show the village off. The reason that I'm inside the yellow studio right now is I'm recording this at night. So there's nothing to show off, and I'm just trying to answer some questions. So have I considered doing some vlogging to show what life is like? Yes and no. Certainly not in the sense of doing a daily vlog, but do more walk and talk stuff. I've been doing that, and yet people still continue to ask. So I guess I would say, Veronica, be more specific. And anybody else who's thinking that, I mean, please tell me that your lives are not so bored that you want to follow me around because you think there's some entertainment value there. If there is, then, man, I pity you. Lynn in Michigan, can you give us more details about the amenities and their cost? Yes and no. I can. I'm trying to figure out a way to do this, Lynn, and I do get this question very frequently. Golf, like how much is golf? And I would love to tell you that the price schedule for amenities is just drop dead stupid simple. It's not. It's ridiculously complicated. And maybe that's not the case. If you're a golfer and you look at it, maybe it all makes complete sense to you. I look at it and I'm like, you can't just kind of have a member price and a guest price, maybe an annual program, but I get it. There's all kinds of situations. So if you and your spouse, let's say, you move to the village and you golf, but she doesn't, then you don't want to buy a couple an annual kind of a membership for a couple if you're golfing by yourself. And so there's consideration for that. The answer is I can. I'm not going to do that right here, right now. This is a long list. And my biggest concern, to tell you the truth, is to make sure that I've got that pricing correct, because I've got 2 or 3 different versions all showing 2025, but they're not all exactly the same. So once I get in touch with the folks at the POA, I will have them on the show to kind of help pull the curtain back on those. So I'm leaning on the experts at the POA to help me with that. But I hear you, Lynn, and I hear everybody else who wants to know about the amenities and how much they cost. The other question that I get really has to do with kind of the way the villages and other so-called retirement communities work, where the amenities are included in the assessments. And I will tell you that here in Hot Springs Village, not really. Now, there's a caveat to this. Define amenity. If you're defining an amenity as going to play golf, the monthly assessment, so we have a house, which means we have utilities on a lot, which means by definition, this is an improved lot. And so it's about $113 a month. That's the POA assessment. Well, that doesn't cover a single round of golf, where in the villages, you might pay a couple of $100. Now there's more fees attached down there. If you buy a house, for instance, you probably are going to have a 5-figure bond that you will pay that usually is just rolled up into the mortgage, if there is a mortgage. And I can hear numbers like $30,000. So it's kind of like a buy-in fee to a country club, and then you pay a couple of $100 a month, and yes, you just go play golf. And there's no green fees. Hot Springs Village doesn't work that way. Here, the assessment really doesn't cover the cost of amenities. The amenities like golf courses and pickleball and other things, they have a different associated cost to them. There is a member rate for those of us that are property owners versus a non-member rate. And it's a decent enough of a price break. So I'm going to address this in the future. Let's squeeze in another one. Vivian in Nebraska. How varied are home prices, and what impact does a home price have on the cost of living? I got another emailer who reached out just last week. They're considering a number of different places around the country. They don't seem to be, they're approaching retirement age. This is a married couple. I can't remember where they live, but they are not constrained by geography. They just want to stay in the United States. So they don't want to go to Southeast Asia. They don't want to go to Vietnam or any place like that. They don't want to go to Mexico. They want to stay in the continental U.S. And they were asking about something similar to this, mostly about the financial diversity here inside Hot Springs Village, meaning, can we get a home? I know we can get an inexpensive home, but could we get something probably more what we are accustomed to for a reasonable amount of money? And of course, I had all kinds of questions, because I've got friends who would think that the house I'm living in is not reasonable, that it is unreasonably impoverished. uh, the answer to the question, Vivian, is home prices vary. The median price here, I think, is somewhere just south of $350,000, which in today's market, no matter where you are, is a deal. Now, what will you get for that? That depends. Let me just pull the curtain back in full transparency and tell you about us. I'm not going to go into detail because I've already done that in a prior episode where I talked about our journey here, because so many of you just kept bugging me to pull the curtain back a little bit even more, and we did. And I don't think I said it in that show, not that I was trying not to say it, but full transparency, we bought a new home, had never been sold before, and we bought it, a year and a half, 2 years ago, and we paid $350,000. This home is about 2,200 square feet. It is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It has a ridiculously large master bedroom, and it has this appendage right off of the master bedroom that I call the yellow studio. You see the yellow chairs behind me, and I've got yellow curtains. Back in DFW for over 20 years, I had a room that I had painted. Rhonda and a church friend painted it kind of a mustard yellow. At my request, I wanted the walls painted that color. And so I called it the Yellow Studio for that reason. So this is the Yellow Studio 4.0. So I've had that many iterations of this kind of a space. This is a 12 by 12 appendage off of a master bedroom, which is already huge. So it's a ridiculously open floor plan, really tall ceilings. It's great, and we love it. Now, is it high end? It is not high end. It is not high end. We've got granite countertops and soft close cabinets and stuff, but I mean, the cabinets are not custom. I would describe the fit and the finish of our house very much as builder grade. And I'm not ashamed to say it, and not ashamed of it. Perfectly happy. We love it. We love the neighborhood. We love the house. So that's us. House prices here, yeah, they can vary dramatically, but so can the location. The lots, not all lots are created equal, and not all houses are created equal. For instance, let's talk about the high end. If you're accustomed to country club living and you love to play golf, Diamante is got your name written all over it. And you can buy houses in there for probably somewhere just under 500. I'm spitballing here, so don't hold me to this. You do your own research. Reach out to McGraw Realtors, sponsors of the show. You can go all the way up, well into, $1 million. But again, it depends on where it is. If you're going to be on a green, well, you're going to pay more, rightfully so. And you are going to be locked into 48 months worth of not just, you're always going to have the POA assessment, but on top of that, you will have the Diamante, the country club assessment, if you're in the Diamante area. And you'll be committed to that too, which could be a great deal. If you love to golf, especially if both of you love to golf, and you want to golf every day that the weather permits, honey hush, move to Diamante. Absolutely, positively. Gorgeous facilities, gorgeous golf course, gorgeous clubhouse, pool, world-class pickleball courts, world-class clay tennis courts. It is absolutely. You could uproot Diamante and you could plug it into any major city like DFW, and they would fit right in. So you can do that. Another high-end consideration would be if you want to live on the lake. If you wanted to live on Lake Balboa, the largest lake in here, 930 some odd acres, far and away the biggest body of water in here, and the biggest of the big houses and the fanciest of the fancy houses are probably going to be on Balboa or one of the other larger lakes. Could you find something around 500 or so? You probably could. Might it need some upgrades? Yeah. More likely you're going to be looking in the $700,000-$800,000 plus range, depending on how big and depending on the location, depending on the feet of waterfront and all that. Reach out to Rick Marshall. He's the waterfront expert here inside Hot Springs Village. He is with McGraw. He's a sponsor of the show. Shout out to Rick. And you could easily spend $1 million. Now let's go to the other end. The other end is you could find a smaller townhome, not a condo. These are townhomes and you buy them. Now, they also have a different assessment than, say, I have. My assessment is $113. A townhouse, or a townhome, you'll have a $113 POA assessment, and then you're necessarily going to be a member of the Townhouse Association or the Town Homeowners Association, and that has an additional fee. It's for common area maintenance and all of that sort of stuff. And so that monthly cost is going to be higher than mine. However, you might be able to find, number one, a little smaller footprint, and number two, a lower price. You could. You can also find, and again, everything, there's really no hard, fast rules here, right? It's the market. So you just kind of have to pay attention and see how the market is adjusting. Occasionally you can find some smaller houses that may have a carport, may not have a garage, and may just have a carport, and you can get a deal on those. Yes, they're going to be older. Yes, they're probably going to need some updating. And if they haven't been updated, you can get a better deal on them. But, you're going to be out the trouble and the money to update it. However, you could do that as it suits you. And then there's everybody in between. And I guess it's the real estate moniker that has been in existence forever: location, location, location. There are lots that are in really secluded areas, and there are houses in some areas. And then there are houses on the west end that were built virtually when the village opened 55 years ago, coming up. And then there are other houses that are just a few years old, like mine. It impacts cost of living, I think, in the two obvious major ways: property taxes and homeowners insurance. I unless I'm missing something, I don't know how living in a certain place. Well, I guess the third obvious place would be just ongoing maintenance. I mean, if I had a waterfront property and I had a boat dock and I had a seawall, and that's just going to require some annual maintenance that I don't have because I don't live on the water, and I don't have a boat dock, and I don't have a boat in that boat dock, and I don't have a seawall to maintain, and those sorts of things. So those were important factors for us, and they may be important factors for you. However, we've got friends who live on the lake, and they wouldn't have it any other way. And they went in knowing, okay, we're going to have some cost associated with maintaining this boat dock and with keeping and maintaining a boat. And we're also going to have ongoing cost, perhaps in landscaping and perhaps in seawall repair and whatnot. Then I've got other friends who've got large houses, a lot of square feet, a lot of space, and there's two of them. And the ongoing maintenance cost is significant compared to what mine are. We've got a 2,200 square foot house, which frankly for the village is probably average, I think, probably a little on the higher side. You're going to find a lot of homes in here that are 1,400 to 1,800 square feet. It seems to me, just as a casual observer, well, more than a casual observer, but it seems to me that the 1,400 to 1,800 square feet is really a sweet spot. There seems to be an awful lot of retired couples that just feels kind of ideal. For us, I can tell you, we came from a house that was just under 3,000 square feet, and the 2,200 square feet we have here feels bigger than probably any house we've had, because we've never lived in a house that was just this wide open, and a ton of natural light and all that sort of stuff. So I would say it's not so much about the home price impacting the cost of living alone, but size and location of a house can matter as well. For instance, a yard with a bunch of trees that hang over your roof, you're going to want a tree service to come out and to trim those away, unless you just want the limbs hanging right over your roof, which I would not advise because of all the critters around. So there are maintenance considerations that I think would absolutely impact, and I don't know that necessarily has anything to do with the price of the house. It could, but I'm just telling you that there are other factors. Grass. There are some yards here. There are some houses here, and they have grass yards. If you're on the lake, fine. You can pump water. You can pump water for free out of the lake to water your landscaping. But what if you don't live on the lake? Okay, well, you're going to pay for water, and water ain't cheap. I don't care where you are. Water ain't cheap. So there's a consideration when it comes to cost of living kind of stuff. So, Vivian, I hope that helps some. I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Whether you're looking for a house or a lot, come visit in person. And I'm going to give you two other real strong pieces of advice. And yes, it's because they sponsor the show, which enables me to do this and bring this to you, but also because they're just awesome people who will gladly help you with no sales agenda at all. Yes, they're business people, but you don't have to buy anything. You need to call Ike Eisenhower at Ike Eisenhower State Farm. And if you'll call Ike and tell him that you're coming to town, Ike raised his family here. He's been in the village for over 27 years. He and Sonia, and they brought their kids up here. You need to talk to Ike and tell Ike you're coming to town and you'd like to make an appointment. You got some questions. You want to know from his perspective what life is like inside the village. I promise you he will be super helpful. You need to call Ken and Lori Henderson at McGraw Realtors. You need to call Rick Marshall, especially if you're interested in anything around the water. Call Rick Marshall. And even if you're not in the market, you just want to get an idea. You're just trying to figure out if Hot Springs Village might be the right landing place for you. And you don't have a checkbook in hand and you're not ready to buy anything. It's fine. It's fine. Just tell them. These are people who've been in the village. Rick's been in the village for a few years. Lori Henderson knows the place like the back of her hand. She grew up learning to drive, I think, around here. So she's been here a long time. So these are the people that can really give you some sense of life inside the village. And just tell them that. Just tell them that I'm not buying anything. I'm not interested in buying anything. But Randy said to call you because you could kind of help me figure out if Hot Springs Village might be right for us. And I can assure you they will help you. I can promise you they will be a great resource for you and beneficial, whether you buy anything from them ever or not. It won't matter, because these are people that are great ambassadors for this place, just like I'm trying to be. But they've been here a lot longer than I've been. So that's my advice. Secondarily, come multiple times throughout the year. Now's a great time to come. Spring, summer, sure, it can be rainy, but come and see it. Come and see it in the summer. Come and see it in the fall, winter. Come a couple of times if you can. The advantage you're going to have if you will connect with Ike or somebody from McGraw is you can shorten the learning curve substantially, which I did not do. I had to come and just kind of venture out on my own, and I just didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't have anybody like me telling me, hey, here's something you could think about doing that really would kind of shorten this learning curve for you. Nobody told me that. And had they told me that and connected me with somebody that, I felt like I could do that with and not be pressured to buy something, I'd have done it. But there wasn't anybody. So here I am telling you what you should do, because I promise you it will benefit you in your journey to try to figure this out. Send your comments, send your questions. You can do it any way you want. I don't care. You can comment on a video. You can comment at the website. You can send me an email to hello@hsvinsideout.com. You can leave a voicemail. I mean, how many options do you need? You can find my phone number somewhere. I'm not going to give it out, but you can find it. It's easy. And you can send me a voicemail. You can text me. I don't care. So ask away, and hey, we hope to answer. That's all I know. hsvinsideout.com. That's the website. Till next time. See ya. Thanks for watching Hot Springs Village Inside Out. You'll find all our episodes at hotspringsvillageinsideout.com or on YouTube.